It's spooky time in the world of Welcome to Mystara, because today I'm piecing together the Mystara Afterworld that you picked for the topic for discussion. This was a hard one to piece together because there's not a lot of information and some of that's contradictory, but that's okay because this is me we're talking about, so I can work magic with what I've got. So break out the prayer beads and start your keening, because I'm Mr. Welch and today we're looking at the Mystara Afterlife. I'm not joking about there not being a lot of information. The primary source is Dragon Magazine 180, and that mainly talks about the city of Limbo, which may or may not actually be on the actual plane of Limbo itself. This is the location all souls go to when they die, without exception. There they may experience the city of the dead, which is kind of neutral ground for all souls, where they gain their bearings in the afterlife, before they make their way to the care of their patron immortal. The magazine does give rules for adventuring inside the city, though it's very limited in scope because of the lack of information. It is a magazine article, after all, and it can't fit too much information in a dozen pages. The article describes that the faithful will eventually find a gate that will take them to the home plane of their patron immortal. That doesn't go into any detail past that. Both the Immortals box set and Wrath of the Immortals doesn't go into any detail at all what happens after you reach the plane of your patron immortal. And if you reach immortality yourself, it doesn't describe what you have to do when the old farmer who says his prayers to you every night finally kicks off the mortal coil, and then you have to provide him a new home in the hereafter. Celestial paperwork wasn't a major topic when they were writing the immortal rules. However, several of the gazetteers and a few of the other books give the final fate of the Mystara faithful, especially like the Northern Reaches book and the Hollow World. The one topic that comes up often in the few times that the afterlife is talked about is reincarnation. Both Odin and Hel are called out on it as they're reincarnating their followers at a rate other immortals consider reckless, because both of them are effectively an arms race to keep their strongest followers among the ranks of the living. Reincarnation is also brought up with the Orcs of Thar, where the Beastmen races also enjoy an increased reincarnation rate, and the Nation of Sin believes heavily in reincarnation. Now, there is a plane of death that does seem to be populated entirely by undead, which is mentioned frequently, but there's no suggestion that this is where people go after their death. It seems to be a place where life can't happen. Anyone who travels there dies and becomes some sort of undead. Now, all the undead there tend to be intelligent forms with their souls trapped in their body or free roaming incorporeal types, but they are creatures that are physically there. The various source books say the dead go to the outer planes, but only the ones of their patron immortals. Unless a patron immortal is on the plane of death, the dead don't travel there. Not all souls reincarnate back on Mystara. Those that have proved themselves worthy are turned into celestial or entropic creatures directly to serve their immortals. The truly worthy become the Titans and work at the side of their immortal. Others become lesser beings that guard their patron's plane or are used in wars between the outer planes. In particular, the Northern Pantheon makes use of a large number of deceased servants this way. This sets a bar so that the unworthy are trapped in limbo for all time until they are destroyed in some way, their souls forever erased from the multiverse, or the strongest are kept by the immortals as their own personal warriors or bodyguards. The rest will eventually be returned to the prime material plane through reincarnation. This does make a lot of sense for the immortals. They're dependent on their mortal followers, and that's how they increase their ranks. The more a mortal follows the teaching of their immortals, the faster they would get reincarnated. Now, the immortals don't tell the mortals that reincarnation is the standard method used in the afterlife. The souls get to their destination, and when a new body is opened up, the soul gets sent back down to try to improve on their life. This wipes the memory of the reincarnated, but you can use magic to try to get information out of a past life for just a lark. The time it takes to reincarnate could be months to years, and the location of the soul could be in a distant land because of the fact that the immortals appear in different guises across the multiverse. Now, reincarnating into a new species would be frowned upon because the patrons of the elves, the dwarves, and the hen would be a little bit more protective of their people. Humanoids always reincarnate back into humanoid bodies and much faster than humans would. This gives us a chain of events where the characters snuff it, head off to the city of the dead in Limbo. While they're there, they can be brought back with a spell, no problem. Speak with the Dead always contacts them, and so on. If they leave the city of the dead, the creatures on the plane can then harm them, but that's the only way to reach the outer planar gates leading to the realms of their immortals. If they follow a pantheon or a sphere instead of a single immortal, they have multiple gates available to them, making it easier for them. Once they reach the outer plane gate, resurrection and contact spells only work with permission of the immortal that runs the place. Now, if you don't have a patron immortal, or worse, you betrayed your patron immortal, then you get to spend your entire afterlife trapped in limbo or worse. You can still be resurrected while you're in limbo as long as your body is intact, but there's going to be no reincarnation for you. You think that would be a major selling point among the different religions. Obey us and we'll constantly return you to life, but apparently the immortals don't want that to be advertised. Lost souls are considered yummy snacks by legions of the undead or the demons that run around limbo, so you don't have much time to save a lost soul unless they stay in the city of the dead and wither away slowly. Some creatures don't have much of an afterlife. The fey creatures like the She reincarnate back as themselves automatically, and because of this they owe no allegiance to any immortal, which is part of their schism. It's not that they don't have souls, their souls are strong enough that they can rebuild their own bodies when their mortal form is destroyed. Of special note is the Nagpa, who because of a curse have no afterlife at all. As soon as one of them dies, another one of them gets pregnant on her own and with the reincarnated soul of the dead Nagpa. They don't have to wait at all for a new body. Granted, they aren't allowed to enjoy their existence, so they get no benefit at all from this. There's a ton of questions left about reincarnation, though. While it does give Mystara a unique afterlife compared to living on one of the outer planes for all eternity like most of the rest, you have to wonder if it lets you be reincarnated on other worlds or in other regions. Odin is present in the known world and the hollow world, so if you bite it in Solderfjord, is there a chance you wake up in the land of the red sun? Inquiring minds want to know. Especially with the spell of preservation, trapping people in the hollow world doesn't make much sense to allow an Ice Lore elf to become a Belkades. In Limbo, the rules against interference are somewhat relaxed, so you do have devils and angels running around doing jobs for the Immortals in exchange for access to souls. There's a bit of a continuity snarl because demons can open portals from Limbo to the prime material plane and hunt down escaped souls, which should draw the ire from various Immortals. That does give the lawful outsiders the ability to try and lure lost souls to the far outer planes, so you can see devils making deals with souls trapped in limbo or angels claiming good-aligned souls that got rejected by an immortal for one reason or another. That's this week's video. It was a little bit tough to research, but this does mark the 2nd anniversary of this channel, so congratulations on year number 2. There's not a lot of information on the afterlife, but what there is gives a new look on a fantasy world. You could play in a later timeline where you're an older character's reincarnation, or have to race to Limbo to recover a lost party member's soul from a vengeful undead. I'll throw up the next poll as soon as this uploads, and tell me what I'm talking about next week. So until next week, you're in luck. It turns out your friend is only somewhat dead.